The red rift butterfly swarming around players, going into the rocket, and then a red rift bursting into the sky. What does this all mean for Fortnite OG? And did the red rift butterfly actually break the storyline? And is Fortnite OG canon to the main chapter 6 game mode? Yo, what is going on, guys? If you're new here, my name is Tricky. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure to use code TRICKYS, TRICKYS, in the Fortnite item shop. It really does help me out a lot. But guys, we have so much to go over about the rocket event that just happened, and so many surprising theories and some that actually make a ton of sense. So let's get right into it. First off, I just want to say what a fantastic experience of reliving Fortnite OG and the rocket event. I saw a lot of people hating on Twitter saying that it really wasn't a good event, and I'm gonna be dead honest with you. Really, what did you expect? It was the first ever event that we received in Fortnite OG, and what else more were they supposed to do with it except for some of the changes that they made? Which first, we're gonna go over the red rift butterfly. What does it exactly mean? Now, a lot of people may have missed this in the event, but the red butterfly, after it flew around the player model, it actually flew into the tip of the rocket. Now, this doesn't make any sense at all of why it would do this, except for the fact that since the rift is now red, it could have completely redirected the visitor and his actual coordinates, leading to a change in the chapter 1 storyline. I also want to go over that the visitor, if you may not know, this is the actual visitor that was in the original chapter 1 season 4. This isn't a remixed version of the visitor, and we know this through a ton of different quests and also some audio logs from chapter 4. But the biggest thing of all, since the visitor actually came here before, and since this is the original visitor, what does this mean for the future of Fortnite OG? And will we even convert onto chapter 2? Will it reset? Or will we be getting a season 11 and seeing a continuation in the Fortnite OG storyline? Now, before we go over Kevin the Cube and some of the theories that a lot of people may have brought on of what we might see, let's go back to the bunker in Wailing Woods. If you don't know, we have a bunker in Wailing Woods. There was really no meaning of it back in chapter 1, but everyone wanted to know what was inside of it. Was it tied to the storyline at all? Now, we didn't know if it was at all, and we still don't know in the original chapter 1, but now we know it does have some sort of correlation to the current OG storyline. Instead of it being bland like it once was, it is now flashing lights and Morse code saying something is wrong. And this is very, very important. Now, I had to catch up more on the 7 storyline because I'm not gonna lie to you, I really just stopped caring about the storyline after chapter 1. But the 7 was an organization founded and led by the Foundation, whose goal was to stop the Imagined Order and liberate the 0 Point, basically destroying the loop. The loop is basically Battle Royale, the continuation of hopping on the battle bus, landing into a game, playing it out, Victory Royale, and repetition. Now, all of these 7 members do have the 7 listed in their description, and we saw this also with the Visitor remix skin, but he is actually an alternate version of the Visitor who appeared in an alternate timeline, and he follows a very similar but also a different path from his counterpart during the season 4 era. Now, this is a very huge thing and very big information, because since now that his reality is unknown, he could very well return to the chapter 1 map again if we do get a season 11. Now, I want to go back to the loop mainly. We already talked about that this is the continuous cycle of Fortnite. The biggest thing about the loop is the 0 Point. It's what holds everything together. So what if the 0 Point was never destroyed on the chapter 1 island? It's been a theory for years now, and I've seen videos talking about what if we didn't go to chapter 2? What if we stayed in chapter 1? Well, what if that is what Fortnite OG is? What if this game mode continued on for another 20 seasons and we saw what Fortnite actually would have been if it never went to chapter 2? This is probably one of the biggest and most anticipated theories from a lot of people, and I've talked about it as well in previous videos, because a storyline change like this would be just insane. I also think it's crazier because when Kevin spawns in season 5, which we will be getting on August 8th, what if instead of going to Loot Lake, he is redirected? What if he just goes off the island and doesn't find the 0 Point? I think this is probably one of the most plausible theories and something that could potentially happen, because why would the red rift butterfly spawn in the first place? I think this is probably one of the most under-talked things in the community right now, but it's something that could completely change the direction of OG Fortnite and the history of it forever. There were talks as well of it being a permanent game mode, which a lot of leakers said that it might just go on to chapter 2, but it's not 100% confirmed happened yet. The random red butterfly, it hitting the rocket, a red rift in the sky. Come on, this has got to be one of the biggest plot twists that we've ever seen in Fortnite's history. And how will we know for sure that we are actually getting an alternate storyline? Well, first and foremost, whenever Kevin the Cube actually spawns in, if he is a different color, that could potentially mean he's a completely different cube. And is it even Kevin to begin with? It could be potentially a red cube, a golden cube, but we truly won't know for sure until we understand his path. We will know a little bit more too once we get the OG pass, because we definitely should be seeing a Kevin the Cube remix skin, along with maybe some other loading screens and cosmetics that could potentially hint to a brand new storyline. Now, I think the biggest question of all, are we in an alternate timeline, or are we in the same exact chapter 1 timeline? Now, this has been thrown around so much, and I've also seen on like Fortnite Wiki, the website talks about how the visitor is actually an alternate character. And let me be honest with you, I don't think we will truly know, but what we do know is that this could have very much happened because of the Big Bang. This was at the end of Chapter 4 Season OG, and the entire island was swallowed just like how it was in Season X. The players were shown going through space, and Epic Games hinted at the Lego game mode for Fortnite, rocket racing, and also Fortnite Festival. And then a brand new era of Fortnite begun. But could this have altered the past, and are we witnessing the change in Chapter 1 live from now up until Season X? It's a really crazy theory, and I do think that it could be possible, but obviously we won't know for sure up until probably around Season X. And if Fortnite OG does decide to go to Chapter 2 right after Chapter 1 Season X, does this mean that we're getting a rewritten story of Fortnite, or would it be all the same? I think Epic Games' goal is to make us question and to keep the hype for as long as possible, because this is something that could completely revive their game mode, and it could bring a whole new aspect to Battle Royale and even their storyline. Lastly, I want to go back to the Visitor. Now, as we all know, his skin says the Visitor, Reality Unknown. However, prior to the hotfix, his name was actually the Visitor Reality 157. The reason this is so important is, why would they change it? I think the reason why is that Epic Games wanted to keep it secret up until a later date. I don't think it was fully scrapped, but this reality converts to something before the loop was destroyed, yet it was relocated into an alternate timeline. Keep in mind, there's still much more to come, and I'm actually very shocked that more people aren't in tune with OG, because I think this is going to have a huge effect on the Chapter 6 storyline and even the future of Fortnite. So I think the biggest tie that we have with the Red Rift butterfly and the Red Rift itself and the butterfly going into the rocket is that the Visitor was transported to a timeline before the loop was destroyed. I know this is so much information to take in. I can't fully grasp it myself, but I do think that this is going to completely alternate the way that we look at Fortnite OG, and maybe even the future of Fortnite overall in the way that the storyline is handled. If y'all did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate if you dropped a like and a sub. Also, comment down below one of your favorite theories and which one you might think would be true. I would also love to hear some suggestions of what you would like to see. If you would rather have Fortnite go into Chapter 2, or maybe have a Chapter 1 Season 11 and continue on from there. Guys, I really appreciate y'all. It's been your boy Tricky, and I'm out. Peace.